Hello everyone. So we are going to start a new unit, that is the micromeritics. So as similar to the previous units, this unit it is also divided in different parts. So we are going to start the first part from the unit micromeritics. So in this unit we are going to first of all discuss the background, the basic science and logic behind the study of the micromeritics and its application in the field of pharmacy. So without wasting any time, let's start the presentation. So what is micromeritics? As the question reveals, see, the science and technology of small particles, smaller size particles, it is known as the micromeritics. So as per the definition, it is used to study different characteristics like your particle size distribution, particle shape and its surface area, the porosity of the particles or the clump of the particles, that is the powder, the density as well as the flow property. All right, so why it is necessary to study the micromeritics and its importance, apart from that its application actually. So you see, the knowledge and the control of size and the size range of the particle, it is very important in the field of pharmacy. So you see, the size and the surface area of any particle, it is directly associated with the physical, chemical and pharmacological property of a drug. Means the size of a drug, it will determine its physical, chemical and pharmacological property. Clear? So you see, first of all, let us take an example of drug release and dissolution. So this particle size actually it affects the drug release from different dosage form when they are administered to the patient either orally or parenterally, rectally or topically. You see, high surface area, if the particle size is less, it will have high surface area, right? So higher surface area, it brings about intimate contact of the drug with that of the dissolution fluid. The dissolution fluid may be either your plasma, the dissolution fluid may be either your vehicle, the dissolution fluid may be any other body fluid where the drug will be administered. The thing is that if we lower the size of the drug particle, the surface area of the drug particle will increase, and this leads to what? Increase in the drug release as well as the dissolution, because the interaction of the drug with that of the fluid, it will increase. The next one, it is the absorption and drug action. Definitely they are related simultaneously. So the particle size and the surface area, it influences the drug absorption, right? The more will be the surface area, the more will be the interaction, and it led to the higher absorption of the drug, and subsequently it will lead to the higher action of the therapeutic action of the drug. So higher dissolution, faster absorption, hence the quicker action of the drug will be achieved. So moreover, regarding the physical stability, you see, the particle size actually it also influences the physical stability. For example, of dosage form, suspension and emulsion, right? So smaller size particle in the suspension and smaller size droplet in the emulsion, actually they enhance the physical stability, as because when we are going to decrease the size, the agglomeration property or the clumping of the particles will not generally takes place. Clear? So apart from that, the next part, it is the dose uniformity. So what is that? It is a very important thing. The dose uniformity, it is generally applicable in the physical dosage form. For example, tablet, preparation of tablet. So we all know that before preparing the tablet, before compressing the tablet, we used to mix the drug, the excipient togetherly, we used to form the granules, right? Now the particle shape and size, they also govern the flow property. When these granules they will be formed, when they will be formed, means they will be allowed to go through the feed, or the hooper into the compression chamber. The flow property, it will determine the characteristic of the granules as well as the drug uniformity. If the flow property of the drug is less, then you will find what? The amount of the granule which is coming out fast, it will have less amount of the drug as compared to the granules which will be coming out at the last, right? And this led to what? You will have a batch of drug where you are not going to get uniform amount of the drug. Suppose there are 10 tablets we have prepared. In the first 3-4 tablets you are going to have less amount of the drug, where in the list 7, 8, 9, 10, in the last 4 you are going to get a higher amount of the drug. Thus you cannot assure dose uniformity. This is just an example, just to make you understand. Okay, so you see, any interference in the flowability of the powders or the granules through the feed in the compression chamber actually may alter the weight of the powder blend, and thus the amount of the drug incorporated in the tablets and capsule. They thereby reduce the uniformity of the dose, as we have already taken an example of 10 tablets. Clear? So now the particle size, its importance in the pharmacy. The first importance, you see, physical property of the powder. So the particle size importance in the pharmacy, the first part, it is the physical property of the powder. If the size of the particle it is more, the powder will become bulkier, it will not have the good flow property, right? Next, the flow property of the powder. If the size it is differentiated, the flow property will be hindered. The rate of dissolution, as the lower size particle will have a higher surface area, which lead to the higher rate of dissolution. But if the particle size is more, the rate of dissolution will be hampered, right? Chemical property of the powder, rate of absorption, it is directly associated with the rate of dissolution. Elegance of the pharmaceutical preparation. You see, if the particles or the particle size distribution is not uniform, you can consider an example of suspension. If all the particles present in the suspension they are not of uniform size, then definitely the elegance, the appearance of the suspension will not, means it is not good, right? So stability system, as we have already discussed in the suspension and for emulsion. Extraction and drying, they are also in the extraction and drying. We used to see the powder property of the drug from where the extraction is done. So before extraction of the herbal drug, we generally prefer to reduce the size of the drug particle so that more or efficient amount of the extraction can be done. And last one, it is the absorption capacity. Done. So the properties of the powder. So basically powders, the two properties are there. Number one, it is the fundamental property. Fundamental properties, they are associated, or these are the properties related to the individual particles. So the fundamental properties, they are related to individual particles, single particle present in the powder, right? And the next property, it is the derived property. So derived property, actually they are dependent on the fundamental properties. They are not the direct property. As the name itself it say, it's a derived property. So the derived property depend upon the fundamental property, and it define the factors relating to the measurement. So what are there in the fundamental property? You see, fundamental properties of the powder, it include the particle size and the size distribution, right? The particle shape, spherical, oval, rectangular, square, right? Particle surface area, particle weight, and particle number. These are the fundamental properties of the powder, right? Now derived properties. What are the derived properties? The derived properties, they are obtained from the fundamental properties only. So in the derived property, we have the density of the powder, which include the bulk density, the tap density, the granular density, and the true density, right? Flow property of the powder, the flowability of the powder, porosity, the amount of the air entered within the powder, the bulkiness, how much the powder is bulkier, right? So these are the derived properties. So in the fundamental properties of the powder, you see the first one, it is the particle size. So the particle size, it is a very essential element in the physical pharmacy. Actually, it is a very essential element. While before proceeding to any formulation preparation, we always need to check the particle size of the drug as well as the granules. So the particle size, actually it is denoted in the micrometers. So 1 micrometer, we all know that it is equal to 10 to the power minus 3 millimeter or 10 to the power minus 6 meter. So 1 millimicrometer, it is actually nothing but it is the nanometer. So simply you can have this thing, 1 meter is equal to 1000 millimeter, 1 millimeter is equal to 1000 micrometer, 1 micrometer is equal to 1000 nanometer. So this is their what relation. This thing you have to always keep in your mind whenever you are going to formulate or you are going to derive any calculations from this. Clear? So the particle size. Now the particle size, these are determination method. How we are going to determine the particle size? So for determining the particle size, we have 4 different methods. Number 1, it is the optical microscopy. Number 2, it is the sieving method. Number 3, it is the sedimentation method. And number 4, it is the conductivity method, right? So let's start with the optical microscopy. So as the name itself says, optical, you can see it by our naked eyes with the help of a microscope. So let's start the optical microscopy. So optical microscopy, you see, it is used for particle size which are in the range of 0.2 to 100 micrometer. Below 0.2, it is very hard. Below 0.2, I am repeating, below 0.2 micrometer particle size, it is very hard to determine the size of the particle using a optical microscopy. So this method actually, it gives a number distribution which can be converted finally into the weight distribution. Why? Because the number of the particle or the number distribution, it is directly associated with the weight of the particle, right? We are getting the number of the particles. So these particles will have definitely some weight. So number distribution, actually it is directly proportional, or it is directly related to the weight distribution. So the optical microscope lens, they have a limited power. We all know that, right? So what we can do? In such cases, we can use the advanced microscope. For example, electronic microscope. We can use ultra microscope. We can use electron microscope. So there are 2 types of actually electron microscope. One, it is the scanning electron microscope, which is abbreviated as SEM. Another one, it is a transmission electron microscope, which is abbreviated as TEM. So application where it is applied. So it is generally applied for, you see, I have given it in the bold format. So it is generally applied for particle size analysis in the suspension. Sometimes it is also used for aerosol, globule size analysis in the emulsion. So what is the procedure? So this is the thing. This is the optical microscope. This is the stage micrometer, and this is the eyepiece, right? So how you are going to determine? You see, first of all, the eyepiece of the microscope, it is fitted with the micrometer. So this is the micrometer, right? Now this eyepiece micrometer is calibrated using the standard stage micrometer. We are going to have a standard stage micrometer where we are going to calibrate it, right? So and the powder sample is dispersed in a suitable vehicle in that particular slide. So the vehicle, you should remember one thing, the vehicle should be like that. It should not dissolve the drug. If the drug is hydrophilic, or if the powder or whatever the thing it is hydrophilic, then you are going to use a hydrophobic vehicle. And if the powder is hydrophobic, then you are going to use a hydrophilic vehicle. So generally we prefer water for the hydrophobic one and paraffin for hydrophilic one, paraffin oil, right? So this sample is mounted on the slide and placed under the stage micrometer, right, under the objective of the microscope. Then you are going to just count. So the number around, you see, around 625 particles are visualized in a single unit, and their diameter is noted and the mean is computed from that. I think you have done this in your practical, right? So what is their advantage? So you see, advantage, one can view the particle. In this method, one can view the particle. Any aggregation, if it is formed, you can detect if there is a aggregation in the particle. Moreover, contamination of the particle can also be detected. If the particle is contaminated, because you are seeing it by the microscope, you can detect the contamination. Moreover, use of cover slip for arresting the motion of the particles. So in this method, as we are going to use the cover slip, this cover slip will finally do what? It will prevent the motion of the particle, because the cover slip will fix the particle in the location, right? And it is very easy and simple to operate. But there are different type of disadvantages and numerous disadvantages with this. Number one, you see, the length and breadth of the particle can be detected, but you cannot determine the depth, that is the thickness of the particle, because you are visualizing it from the top, right? So you cannot determine the thickness of the particle. Moreover, it is slow. Actually, it is very time consuming, tedious and inaccurate method. So it is actually good for laboratory scale, but in the commercial scale it is generally not preferred. So the number of the particle to be measured is more here, because it is very time consuming and large sample is required in this process. So I hope it is clear to you now. So thank you everyone for your patience hearing. If you like the video, just press the like icon. You can share this video and you can subscribe to my channel. Thank you once again.